Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
Here we go, nice and early in the morning. Okay, I know it's only like 8:23 here. You know, you're the second person to me today, Charmaine, that said, "What are you doing up so early?" Because I was up at like 5 o'clock when my husband left for Spen, when my physical husband left for work, and I was just like, you know, so this is going to be a shorter live, you guys, and Charmaine's joining me. And like she said, she just got up too because I was like talking to her for a few minutes this morning on there. But, you know, it's like, what you doing? And she's like, lying in bed. And I'm like, I kind of bounced back into bed there. And I was just on my iPad after I was sitting on my computer because I was going to do a video. And I was like, fudge. Might as well do a live on this one. So again, thank you guys. Please make sure that you hit that like and the share for Jack and Lily. Please always do it for the murdered and the missing. And that's very important. And you guys killed it yesterday with all the likes and the views and everything like that. You know, I don't think we ever really know what the word short live means, to be honest with you. But this one, because we're going to do one later, okay, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, PST time. So that would be 7 o'clock for Nova Scotia time. And of course, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for that. So morning, Charmaine. Morning, guys.
Good morning. Look at my hair. I woke up like this. What did Lauren say? I woke up like this.
Well, I pretty much woke up like this. All I had to do was do this. And then I was going, okay, that's good. We're good.
I threw a brush through it really quickly.
Anyway,
whatever.
Yeah. So today's my day off and tomorrow as well. Ben's like, Sonny, don't forget to take a day off. And I'm like, sure. Okay, will do. Actually, my husband's birthday's on Sunday. I would do work 62 that day, but yeah, he'll be turning the big 3-5. Anyways, so you guys, thank you guys all for coming in. You know what? I'm just gonna say hello to everyone this morning. Lily, thank you again for those 5 memberships you gave out. Mark did as well. There was Ashley that gave a taco yesterday, and there was a few, God, I can't remember. Don't ask me to remember everything, okay? Because I just don't. Oh,
I would like to say I also got a donation last night from Mark. He sent me. We have the buy me a coffee thing too, but I have buy me a book. So,
that's so sweet. Aw, he must have won at his poker game. I'm so sure of it by now.
He had to.
Yeah. Hi, you guys. Okay, so I guess. Hey, Kent. Good morning. Yeah, but don't worry. We'll be on later too, Kent, if you're going to join. And same with Lauren. Okay, so Lauren by Astro by Lauren, she'll be joining us at the next live as well. And we're just going to have we'll talk about the blanket and the stuff that we were talking about yesterday. We'll talk about that on the next live. And, YOLO, kind of like, Lauren has some more thoughts and stuff like that. So, again, it will be a great live then, and maybe there'll be more information coming out. So I had a phone call this morning, and I was told that I was allowed to say this. So because I wanted what it was, I had message. I'm gonna call him Durwood. Okay, so although I do want to say that I do know his actual name, so either if you trust the channel and you believe in this channel, then you know that I'm speaking the truth. But I'm not going to tell you the real name. We're just going to stick with Durwood. And so I was asking. I sent a message and I was like, can you confirm that Meadow was taken by CPS? And then he said yes. Now, he ended up giving me a phone call and letting me know that he had spoken with Logan this morning, and that Logan was going down to CPS to file for custody, which makes sense, meaning if Meadow, yes, was indeed taken from Malaya. And obviously, I think in everyone's mind, that's probably a good thing, that neither of them have Meadow, and that Meadow is placed in a safer environment. So we'll see how that goes. So she went down to file for custody of Meadow. And if you guys know, Logan is the one that came out and spoke on TikTok. Now, again, she was mimicking a lot of what Daniel had said, but this is a close cousin to Daniel. So, and Malaya was supposed to hand Meadow over, during the search that day, but everything went, sideways and south. So, obviously Logan is very close to Malaya and Daniel. And this would seem like a logical thing that Logan, I'm sure in talking with Daniel perhaps as well, that she would file for the custody of Meadow. She has her own children. One of them, I just know that one's name is Jack, because we heard her say Jack as well, not the Jack and Lily that are before you. So Jack and Lily, for anyone that's new to this case, May 2nd, Jack and Lily disappeared. It's June 20th today. So we're coming along we got 7 weeks today. So soon enough, it's going to be almost 2 months, and it's just crazy, this case. But so that one, I was told that I could tell you. Okay, so that was the information. Again, it's one of those things. Do you see paperwork in front of it? No. Either you trust the channel's information, and you can take it with a grain of salt, or, do whatever you want with it. But that's what I was told that I was allowed to say. So in saying that, I thought that I would, of course, well, Charmaine, did you want to say anything to that actually before I show the article again from yesterday?
I really hope that CPS grants her that custody, if not just temporarily. And
right.
We have no reason to believe that Meadow is not just fine, but she's living in turmoil right now, really, no matter any way you slice it. So hopefully Logan can get her and get some stability and some normalcy back, and give Malaya time to breathe. And yeah, it's a good thing.
I think we all feel that in this case, that Meadow needs to be protected properly, right? Because as to this moment, we have no clue whose involvement or non-involvement and what happened with Jack and Lily, right? So Logan and Mackenzie. So Daniel's mom is Janie Mackenzie, and Logan and Mackenzie is the cousin. You guys saw the picture on the thumbnail there, and that's the one that spoke on TikTok. So again, hi Cindy, thank you for becoming a member. Just know we like to have our Rickroll be played, so if anyone wants to become a member, feel free. Me and Charmaine love the Rickroll, and we would desert you guys in a second, wouldn't we, Charmaine? We have no loyalty that way for that. No, I'm just kidding. We just like to hear the Rickroll on there. So, okay. So anyways, welcome everybody again. I just ask, you guys did such an amazing frigging job yesterday at hitting that like and the share. I'll tell you this, like I said, Belinda and all the others that are fighting for justice for Jack and Lily appreciate the support and the love. because honestly, it takes you guys. Now, actually, before we get into the next part, you were saying something in chat. So it was kind of funny because I was about to go rewatch the live, and then it said Dolly was live. And so then
Yeah.
I started watching Dolly, and then, I seen a couple of people in there. Then you're in there, right? Then Sharon's in there.
Well,
Mark, go ahead.
what happened was I clicked on Dolly's live because I was going to go back and rewatch to find out what Derwood said. I clicked on Dolly's live, but it was our live. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not the link I clicked on, but I knew in my head that's what I was originally going to do. So I literally thought I was going crazy. So I exited out and then I clicked back into Dolly's again and it was still us. And I was like, what the fuck? I figured it out though. I got it.
So, so here it is. Like, I'm literally watching us on the screen on Dolly's, and, and of course he's pausing it and playing it and, stuff like that. But then there was this one lady, Melissa, that says, Dolly, I'm trying to call you. She puts in a super chat, Dolly, I'm trying to call you, but you're not answering. You're just going to the machine. So, he basically tells his audience, look, I'm only taking this call, so nobody else call in. Well, he answers the phone, and guess what? Someone named Connie calls. And he's like, are you Melissa? She says, no, I'm Connie. And he's basically like, well, have a good day, But it was so funny in the sense that, and is this the same chick that did this lady? She literally calls and she forgets what she's going to say. And she's like, just give me a minute. Let me think for a second. And then she said, I'm pretty sure that the children live there and Malaya didn't at the start of all this. Now, I don't know what kind of freaking drugs she was doing or drink she was putting back there through her teeth. But it was like, lady, are you drunk? Like, this woman had total amnesia all of a sudden. And I was just cracking up laughing. Like you said, I don't probably snort. You probably were throwing back a few of those, but I mean, Dolly, don't get me wrong, because like some people like Dolly, some people don't. I don't really give a shit. He cracks me up myself. I have a great sense of humor, and Dolly has a great sense of humor. And amidst true crime, okay, it's no offense to any family member whatsoever, because we're not the family members involved in this, but we know that you have to have lightheartedness as well as seriousness about the case. It does not take away from how we feel about a case. But I mean, Dolly is really funny. I mean, that guy, he just has a knack. Like, he's a talker and he has quick wit. And he has tons of sayings, and he's like, arse. I think that's a Canadian word, arse. And I was like laughing because I always say the word arse too, instead of saying the word ass. Lots of times it's like, quit being an arse, and I know it might be said somewhere else around the world, but certain things like that when people pick that up. But anyways, what was there a funniest moment that you kind of were laughing at?
I felt the little devil on my shoulder. I know it's wrong, but just his reaction to Clutch Them Pearls and the pearl necklace thing and that whole thing. I mean, I was dying. I was dying. I'm not like that. It doesn't bother me, whatever. My daughter is married to a woman, but I mean, Dolly he was hysterical last night. It really was funny.
Well, there's definitely no love lost there between those two channels.
No, I was a little, like, I knew when I was talking to Dolly, he was telling me about how did he put it? The guy that looks like a corpse, and I couldn't remember. Like, I couldn't place who he was talking about because I don't see Justin that way. But I mean, I got it afterwards, but I didn't realize that it went that deep. And I was like, wow.
He's like, people are like, PJ's gonna, because he says PJ doesn't like me talking badly about other channels. And then he's like, but I don't speak monkey. I don't speak chimpanzee and whatever. I mean, I'm not. So, like you said, that little devil on the shoulder. I honestly, I already told you my bit of gripe there when you're shouting out a channel, and then they're basically like, who the hell is It's a Crime and Shame? And
are they new?
And I don't know if she's been in the community for that long. I mean, I don't really know, but if she's putting this information out there, and this is Daniel's text messages, like that's probably that's wrong, and I'm just like, dude. Like, shit, seriously. Before you open your freaking mouth, at least know what the frick you're talking ass about. So I was just really offended because here I am shouting out his channel all the time. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just freaking nothing over there apparently, and you don't even know who I am, and let alone the fact that even though you said the channel name before. Anyways, all I can say is obviously there's a beef between the two, but I was dying laughing too because he just couldn't stop. He couldn't help himself. And anyways, Dolly, a mixture of, like he says, true crime, entertainment, all that stuff. Either you like him or you don't. I don't care. I love his sense of humor that he does have. But, you know, and he knows, like, he clickbaits thumbnails and he says he does and stuff like that. You know, each to their own for that. But anyways, I definitely was having a good chuckle. But at one point I was like, okay, people stop calling in because I just want, because he was playing and stopping, you know, the thing. But then people would keep calling in and whatever. And I'm like, dude, I can go back to my own live and watch this faster.
Yeah, and I mean, he did tell somebody that when she was like, you know, I'm taking notes and you keep talking over. He's like, well, you're welcome to go to the channel and watch it without my commentary. Yeah. But for me, it was two birds, one stone, right? Like, I wanted to hear what he was listening to. I was going to rewatch ours, but I mean,
I know that's yeah. So I ended up watching him till he off, and then I knew he wasn't going to go to the end of the live. And that's why I wanted to show people those texts today, because, you know, it ended up being that I ended up showing them at the end of the live. And I felt like it was really important that, you know, for anyone covering it. So I want to say this again to any creator that's covering this case. You are more than welcome to use the content or use the live, because this is about the missing, you know, and the murdered. In this case, it's Jack and Lily. Now, any case, it doesn't matter what it is. Content creators are free to use any of the stuff. Just again, give a shout out to the channel, just like we do when we use your stuff. So again, Joseph Morris, I guess True Crime Cafe with Dago, True Crime Buzz. Again, anyone that's using the content and as, you know, doing it, then again, this isn't about me, Charmaine. This is about Jack and Lily, and that's literally all I give a shit about. Belinda gives, I shouldn't say Belinda gives a shit about, but Belinda only cares to bring information to the forefront for Jack and Lily's sake. So whether we like or dislike Daniel, or like or dislike Malaya, or you dislike or like them both, that's totally irrelevant, okay? Because the information is there for you guys to decipher yourself. You know, like someone left a comment yesterday, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but I will because it's just in my head right now. And they're like, you know, like 2 weeks ago you were, or just the other day you were talking, you know, about bad about Daniel or whatever, and this and that and whatever. No, moron. Like almost like I left the channel. You know what? Honestly, I just basically said, look, I do not give a shit about your comment whatsoever. It's irrelevant to me. This is about Jack and Lily. Whether you stay because you liked me 1 minute and didn't like me the next, do not care. Okay. This is about Jack and Lily first and foremost on this. And the thing is that if you're doing your due diligence, you're looking at all sides. Everything. It's not like we're sitting there going, oh my God, let me just crawl up Daniel's ass and just see if he'll come talk to us. Oh, let me just talk to, you know, Durwood and see if we can just crawl up his ass and he'll talk to us, you know, or Malaya. It's not about that, okay? It will never be about that. If they want to talk, they'll talk. If they don't, they don't. But if somebody's going to speak, you're obviously going to give them a platform to speak. And why wouldn't you? If it's family,
and be respectful about it. Just because we're nice or professional or kind when we're talking to these people, it doesn't mean anything. It's they're giving us information, and we're very thankful for that. So why would we? And people also say, like, I want to hear hard questions, ask the hard questions. You have to be very careful about what questions you ask, because a lot of our questions are very accusatory, right? And
absolutely.
And Malaya and Daniel, they're going to have their boundaries out there, obviously with Malaya, but if you ask Daniel the wrong question, he won't talk to you anymore. Trust me. I know.
Well, absolutely. Right. And again, so it's like, if you thought we fell off a turnip truck yesterday and we're just boring, it's not the case, people. But as a creator, trust me, right? It's not like I don't ever want to be a fake person ever, right? I kind of just like, hey, if you want to talk, then get your ass up here and talk. Let's talk. But yes, it's one of those things is that, again, you're as a creator, you're not going to sit there and go, oh, I absolutely believe in Daniel or I absolutely believe in Malaya. Of course not. You have to take everything, all of the information in, try to make your best educated guess on everything. And then that's all you can do until the truth truly comes out. But the more that people talk, is the more information that we have access to. Why would you knock that? So don't make it a personal attack for some of you idiots out there that do want to make it a personal attack, against the channel as if we're some sort of idiots that don't know what we're doing. Trust me, we've been in true crime for a long time, or at least 5 years here, but it's not like I didn't always watch my shows and that, 48 hours and stuff. Charmaine, how long have you been in the true crime space exactly? Because you got your podcast.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it depends on what you think about. Like we're talking like 30 years. 30 years that I've been studying the Canadian justice system.
There you go.
On a platform in true crime, about the same, 5 years publicly. But I mean, this has been a lifelong thing from even when I was a little girl, and you know what I mean? This is lifelong learning for me.
Yeah. So for us, it's just, again, it's about facts, bringing you guys the most insight and the truth that's out there, or whatever you deem as truth, right? Doesn't matter if you believe that somebody's lying or not. It's still from the horse's mouth. It's still from the family circle, okay? So for people that aren't very clear about Durwood, so again, he is Malaya's grandmother. He is the cousin to Malaya's grandmother, Patty, okay? So that would be first cousin, second removed to Malaya. Okay, so that's who that is. So he's on Malaya's side, but but then he's speaking, with Daniel, for Daniel, exactly. So it's not, no deep dark secret that some of the stuff that he is saying is obviously regurgitated information from obviously conversations with Daniel. Okay, so again, either you believe that information and know that this channel is always does its due diligence on providing you guys with the truth and the facts, or you don't believe us, and I don't care. Simple as that. But we're here for Jack and Lily. We're here for Belinda and all the other family members that are trying to find out what happened to Jack and Lily. So with that being said, $150K reward was offered, which we were told about by Belinda from Malaya about this reward that would be coming out. And if you guys all look on like Nova Scotia, you'll see that all the missing people out there, or the people that are missing and potentially murdered, whatever, that there's $150K reward offered to them as well. So that is, so it's not like this case is special. This happens with all of those cases. If you go to the website, you'll see all the different faces with 150K up to 150K reward for them. So obviously, again, it's very important to like and share. Obviously, they need the help. They need help. They need information. They need the public. Whoever knows something, come forward, give some information, to help find out what happened to Jack and Lily. So in saying that, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it so much. Again, if your heart's in the right place and you're doing this for the right reason and being here for the right reasons, please give a like and a share for Jack and Lily and the family members that truly want answers. So I do want to bring up that this one yesterday. Okay, so missing Nova Scotia children were assessed by child welfare agencies months before the disappearance. I want to go over this one again. So Nova Scotia Child Protection Agency investigated the living conditions of Jack and Lily Sullivan months before their mysterious disappearance from a rural part of the province in early May. A case file that has been reviewed by the minister responsible for child welfare. Scott Armstrong, Nova Scotia's Minister of Opportunities and Social Development, confirmed in an interview that the agency had a file on the children prior to their disappearance, but it said it would be inappropriate to discuss the agency's findings. With Jack and Lily still missing and police investigation underway, it's not the right time to dissect the agency's prior involvement, Mr. Armstrong said. We have no idea where those kids are, and we should be focused on helping them and finding them and supporting this family, he said. Asked whether a review has been ordered into his agency's prior interaction with the children, he said, "As minister, I've seen a report. I'll talk to that. I've personally seen the report. I asked for it," he said. "I'm aware of how the department was involved with this." He added, "I think we should be focused more on the kids than we are looking to blame somebody." Mr. Armstrong said that there may come a point when the agency's involvement with the children is deserving of more scrutiny. But now, 7 weeks into their disappearance, it is not. Daniel Martell, who is the common law relationship with the child's mother and was living with them when they went missing, told the Globe and Mail in an interview in May that a social worker with Child Protective Services visited the home several months ago. The visit was prompted by concerns that had been relayed by someone at the children's school and related to their developmental delays, Mr. Martell said. The children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, said she had no comment in relation to Child Protective Services involvement with Lily and Jack. Mr. Martell had said he had nothing to do with the children's disappearance and has nothing to hide. "I'm keeping the story alive and keeping everyone's hope up, not just my own," Mr. Martell told the Globe in May. He also said Mrs. Brooks Murray had no involvement in the disappearance. "I know Malaya has nothing to do with anything." Child welfare authorities investigate when a report of the suspected abuse or neglect is received by the agency. In Nova Scotia, every person has a legal obligation to report concerns of suspected abuse or neglect. The law stipulates that teachers, and they do, that they and other childcare workers have an added duty to report. The disappearance of Jack and Lily has prompted one of the largest ground searches in the province history. Mrs. Brooks Murray told police that Lily 6, Jack 4 wandered away from their home in Lansdowne May 2nd while she and Martell, her then common law partner, were sleeping. Earlier that same morning around 6:15, she reported both children would be absent from school. According to Mr. Martell, he told the Globe that Lily had a cough and Jack was kept home for precaution. The RCMP Major Crime Division, involved since day 2 of the search, has since seized electronics devices from the home, conducted polygraph tests, analyzed hours of video footage from the road outside the residence, searched septic systems, abandoned mine shafts. So far, the children appear to have disappeared without a trace. Well, we know that they didn't. The division, whose primary role is to investigate foul play and homicide, has repeatedly said there's no evidence that the children were abducted. The day after the children were reported missing, Mrs. Brooks Murray left the home. Lansdowne, she cut off contact from Mr. Martell and later changed her Facebook status to single. And then it goes into about the child youth and the role of the child and youth advocate. But anyway, so we'll leave it at there. For that part of it. I did want to read that part again. Oh, somebody, Chris, I see a super chat come. I didn't play. Why didn't it play? It didn't play, right? Didn't hear it. Sometimes I feel like it's broken. It's just broken on there.
It didn't play. I think that Streamlabs is glitching a lot lately. Like even when I paused my subscription because it's trash lately. I'm not paying $80 a month for this shit.
It is. Thank you, Chris, for the super sticker. Again, appreciate that. You did that the other day too. Thank you guys again for being here. Thank you guys for hitting that like and the share. Talk a little bit to, I think there's only one day that I maybe didn't talk to Belinda. And then I think that was a couple of days ago, like where I was just working till 5:30, did a live, whatever. And, sometimes I need my breaks and I'm sure she needs a break. But anyways, other than that, besides, I think one day, every day, we say a little bit to each other, even if it's just like, hope you're having a good day today, and again, she just wants to bring awareness to this case for Jack and Lily. They deserve it. Danielle and Malaya, okay, as far as we're concerned, to be honest, they are suspects. Okay, they have not been cleared. Doesn't matter. They have not been cleared. They are still suspects. But, Belinda and any other family member that literally has no, involvement or suspected involvement and that to this case. Again, bless you. So sorry that you're going through this hurt and this pain. It's got to be the worst nightmare ever. But I know with Belinda, we saw her interview. And she just simply wants to know the truth. And you can tell by your interview that she believes that harm came to Jack and Lily, you know, like anyone. Um, there was a broadcast I was watching yesterday where the son, and he was like older, like when I say older, in his 20s, early 30s. Um, and the mother said um, that this is a new type of pain because it goes from missing to that her son's remains were found 2 years later, and they were searching and searching and searching. And she's like, I really don't know how to explain it. It's like there's that pain of hoping, wishing, and then there's the pain of finality. And it's just a different type of pain. And it just, thank you, Jane.
Super chat.
Oh, sorry.
Pounds, you're awesome. Thank you.
Got a good point.
Two of his sweaters, but he told RCMP he said when he was at the briefing he had to walk back. All she took was birth certificates, true yes of Lily and Jack, but she's left all her belongings behind.
So,
Yeah,
and I said yesterday that I need a Tom Webster level spreadsheet to keep track of all of Daniel's interviews and the statements and all of the messages that I have and that Belinda has and the Dolly chat comments, just because there are many
inconsistencies.
And like I said to Joe in chat, it's going to take a lot more information for me to change my own personal opinion here. So,
well, that's just it. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jane, for that. And Daniel said she took 2 sweaters. You know, that has to be one of the most weirdest things. Like, you know, as soon as I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Because it just reminded me of, you know, when somebody is like, well, just in case you come across this, just so you know, I'm being trapped. Like someone's entrapping me with the disappearance. So just so you know, there's 2 sweaters out there. And if they come up missing with the children, just by chance, just so you know.
Yeah, you're just throwing it out there.
1 second. See, that one's working.
I absolutely love me a morning Rickroll. That's awesome.
I know the Rickroll. I know. Thank you, Darlene Brownlee. But yeah, so I was like, where did this 2 sweater thing just come from? You know,
yeah, just out of the blue.
Just out of the blue. Yeah. And you're like, so wait a second. So just know that if 2 sweaters are found with the children, that someone's trapping you? Like, meaning, okay, come on. Let's just look at that. Let's call a spade a spade. Is that not strange? Is that not strange? That, like, who would even say that, to be honest with you? Like, why would you even?
And I mean, I messaged you right away. I know you were sleeping because it was like the middle of the night, but I was taking screenshots and messaging you, and I was like, what the?
Well, like we said yesterday, Charmaine, if Daniel wants to come up here and speak his truth, instead of all these inconsistencies that's going on and whips, and he just wants to speak his truth from A to Z, since he seems to want to be talking, then Daniel, feel free, honestly, to come up on this platform. You can just speak your piece, say what you got to say. You know, it's either like put up or shut up in a sense. Like, stop giving these little crumbs that are here and there. It's actually making it worse by doing that, because people in text construe it a different way, you know. But when you're literally speaking, right, those are your words, you know, you can clear up any misconceptions of what you have said and what you basically contradicted yourself on and stuff like that. So this, again, we do like to be fair, right? If someone wants to speak and he wants to, you know, like I said, put up or shut up type of thing, then feel free to come up here and say your piece, and, you know that this is I know you spoke to him in text, but that's text. Yeah. You know, he clearly can go do interviews, you know.
Anybody can be anything on the computer or text. And I say it all the time. You can be a completely different person over text. You know, and it boggles my mind that, because when you text, you have time to think, because you're typing out these words. You have time to think about what you're saying, and it just, that's why, to me, it's more confusing than just kind of spouting off live on something. Do you know what I mean? You have time to think about what you're saying and rationalize and remember what you said last time. And I mean, it's still not quite adding up. And it just really quickly, I'd like to say, like, there's this thing, they're Apple tags or something like this. Whatever.
The air tags.
I bought a pack of 5 for $40, and I've got my daughter sew them into all of my grandson and my granddaughter's like backpacks and stuff. You're right. How cheap is that as a tracking device for your kids? And it's not helicoptering. It's nothing. It's this day and age. Absolutely. I want to know where they are all the time.
You know, I learned about those things about a year and a half ago. I think it was when I was watching. Some guy had forgot his knapsack, and he had an air tag in it, and he followed it to the exact place that it was. You know, he basically had flown home, and then, but anyways, he tracked it back down. Ended up finding just the air tag for it on there. But I was like, what a wonderful little thing for children.
Yeah, you know, Ian's the reason why I did it. Ian's pickup truck got stolen last year, and he had an air tag in it. And it only reports whatever, but it did. It sent a ping, and he was able to take a screenshot, take it to the RCMP. He got his truck back the next day. And I was like, well, shit, that looks like something my grandkids need, you know?
Well, absolutely. Right. And just going back to that. So back to Daniel, right? Because obviously he knows. I mean, obviously he has already said that him and Daniel speak. He knew him from his job. And like I said, he's from Malaya side of the family, Durwood, we call him. So it's not like Daniel doesn't know that he's on here talking, right? So again, you know, to Daniel, instead of having, say, another person speaking for you, in a sense, just come on up here, say what you got to say. If you would like, the opportunities or option is there for you. Don't have to, but obviously, you know, like I said,
I won't come on. Like if Daniel's on, just because of our kind of history, I won't come on. I will let Sonny do it all.
He hasn't ever answered me, personally. But
I mean, if Durwood is going to reach out to him and try to get you two in contact, and I've already had this interaction with him, and now I've also sent him other messages, and I've been very vocal in chat rooms and stuff. So if that's something that he's not comfortable with because of me, I'm okay with sitting back and watching. I just want to tell you the truth. Yeah.
And if you want to, you know, so if you want to join us, that would be great. Like I said, we're just here for Jack and Lily. That's it. So if you have truth that you want to say, then honestly, we would appreciate it, you know, and then just do kind of like, you know, the A to Z instead of like ding, 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 ding. And then everyone, of course, is looking at you because you're being inconsistent, and you can clear up those. So that's up to you on that. We'll leave that part as that. Now, the other thing that I would like to, and thank you guys again, please. Most importantly, like I said, we are here for Jack and Lily. Okay. Jack and Lily and Belinda, and for all the people that are in the family that truly appreciate the awareness for Jack and Lily that are out there. I know that there's been a bunch of stuff coming out, which is good. Okay. It's good, right? You want to keep, you know, people want answers. They want to know what happened to Jack and Lily. And when people are talking, that's a good thing. And it keeps the case, you know, people are starting to pick up it on channels that were maybe, you know, laxing on it a bit, because again, when families talking, trust me, listen, regardless if you believe them or not, you listen.
And their truth is there's something that happened on Facebook the other day, and we weren't being attacked or anything like that, but they were talking about how we flip-flop. And what I said was that what we flip-flop on is simply our opinion. It's got nothing to do with the information that we're providing. And we say very clearly, we can't verify this information. The only thing that we can verify is that it is coming from people who say this is the truth. This is their truth. Of course, we can't verify the information, neither can they. But they're sharing us. They're sharing with us, so we're sharing with you.
You.
You know, we're not saying that this is the gospel truth. This is what happened in period, the end of story. Of course not. But we're
Right.
giving you the information as we
Well,
get it.
it's like anything, right? You put out the information, you look at it, right? Again, we're putting it out there for you guys, and we've been blessed to have people speaking with us. Belinda, Daniel, and Derwin now, and we've had Logan talking on TikTok and stuff like that. So again, blessed for the extra information or insight. And then just like anybody, right? We're looking at it going, wait, what? And then something changes, a new information, and then you're like, okay, wait, what? So our opinion is just our opinion itself. It's our kind of looking at the information, and then it kind of changes. And then I'm always willing, like you would literally, right, be kind of like roadblocked if you literally didn't look at all the information. And then as information comes in, it shifts. It can easily shift to what you're thinking. So we're just like anybody else that way. Like we're not so special that we know the answers. Of course, if different information comes out and then it, adds to the whole thing. Sorry if we flip flop like a fish. It's not really rare that I flip flop, but this case
Right.
is yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's absolutely no, and at the beginning, for the longest time, we couldn't get a read on Daniel. And to me, my own opinion now is based on previous experiences with men who are like this, and just my opinion, but men who are like this, who seem to be good with their words, and they're very the victim complex, like I said before. It's very for a nurturing person, you just want to help. You just want to like, I was ready to offer this kid a job. You know what I mean? Like, I felt so bad for him. I was like, I'm going to bring him to Alberta. I'm going to put him to work. And, I'm sorry, but and it's going to take a lot of information for me to come around to a different way of thinking.
Well, I was going to say, I'm just always willing to go, yes, Ken. I'm just really always willing to look at everything. And if it means that I have to change my mind 5 times, I will, if that's the way it goes. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to solve the case. Right? I'm just here to put out the information. We're just here to create awareness. The RCMP and whoever has information, that's what's going to solve the case for Jack and Lily. Yeah. And right. So, like I said, just use a little common sense on that. I'm not going to come to your channel anymore because last week you talked good about Daniel. This week you're not. And next week you are. And this week, get over it. Get over yourself. It's about Jack and Lily, to be honest with you. So with that being said, you guys, what I wanted to do was go over these messages. Okay, so this is I just took out the conversation, the points that I wanted to share, because as I'm putting this together, and, in a sense, I know whoever else has been in an abusive relationship, you can just raise your hand right now, press 1 in the chat and stuff like that, because I've been in a controlling relationship. And if there's one thing that we have talked about, it's that Daniel seems to always kind of be the hero in what he's saying about himself. And that Malaya is, I don't want to talk bad about her, he's saying, but, but
show me something good he said about her.
Right. So we have to look at it fairly, bottom line, right? We have to still look at it fairly from all angles of it. Doesn't mean that Daniel's telling the truth. Doesn't mean Lily's telling the truth, or either of them are telling the truth. Just means we have to still look at it fairly, because, these are his words, right? So when something gets put down in words, just like the interviews, you say what you said. If you said what you said, then you have to back up what you said. And if you made a mistake and something like that, then you retract and say, yeah, I said it this way, but that's not what I meant to say. So that's why I'm saying, if he wants a platform just to kind of go from A to Z and tell his truth, and because he keeps saying over and over again that he doesn't lie, he speaks the truth, and blah, blah, blah. So if you do, then, bring your ass on up here, Daniel, and say your truth. And we'll be fair, right? We're not here to attack you. It's just speak your truth. That's it. So I wanted to go over like the parts, just because some people missed those new texts yesterday. So I'm just going to start off with these texts here from Charmaine's and Daniel's initial conversation. And don't get us wrong, we know he's talking with other people and he can do whatever the heck he wants, but this is just a conversation that he was having with Charmaine that day. So one of the things he says, I only wish I could tell you the fine details surrounding Malaya and her family and the disappearance. I'll let you know that Malaya was set to stay with me and the baby to leave with my cousin, which is Logan. But 5 minutes alone with her mother after the first search briefing, Malaya completely changed. She couldn't even look at me. An hour before this, Malaya told RCMP she felt the happiest and safest with me. It was a different Malaya. Then he goes on to say, I will add some more info to the story. We lived in Truro. We moved so that she could get away from her mother. Okay, Malaya couldn't stand being around her anymore. Malaya asked me many times recently in the last few months if she should cut off all ties to the mother, basically, of her life. I said, no, that's your mother. Okay. Lily always tried to take her backpack outside because it was her play backpack, and my daughter is 8 because he has 2 other children from a previous relationship with Christy. And to do that, and all the kids would play treasure and hunt outside. Malaya will put Lily and Jack on the back burner right here. So here we go. So he's basically saying, no, I said, that's your mother, right? So, no, all that bad stuff, but that's your mother. And then he's saying, Malaya put Jack and Lily on the back burner when Meadow was born. I taught Lily and Jack everything from potty training, getting soothers from their mouths. I did everything for them. Lily and Jack called me dad and came to me for everything, never Malaya. She had no control over the kids, and they were wild with her and with me, listened, and were well behaved. I promised myself I'd always be there for Malaya, and I'm holding that promise. Okay, I think, and I go to this one. I just took out the context that I wanted to show. Obviously, the things that are said about Malaya, the things that he's saying about himself, and the things that he's saying about Cindy Murray. Okay, because this is what he's put out there. So I'm not being negative towards Malaya. I love her, but I never lie because that's just not me. I say the truth even when it hurts. I'm sorry to say that, but I live in reality, and reality is what it is. Her mother seized her phone and probably has her car keys. I know this because when my cousin, Logan, called her phone on a private number, her mom picked up and said, Malaya's phone, who's this? Her mother has something over her head of some kind. After her and her mother talked, Malaya was not the same and seemed scared. And so this is when he's talking about Cindy Murray, correct? Charmaine, when he says she's a psychopath.
Yes.
I know that, yes, she's a psychopath. I know that because she displays the traits, and I was only wanting for one trait to be exposed, and that was no empathy. And I finally seen it on its full display when she said, when she never shed a tear that day of the disappearance. It's fucking beyond sad, and my heart breaks for Malaya. Okay, so Malaya gave him no eye contact. Online is going after her. He says, not me anymore. I passed my lie detector test. I told you I don't lie and I tell the truth. Now, they are hiding, hoping all this blows over, but I'm not going to let it. I'm doing everything I can for these kids. She does no media. I do media for Lily and Jack. They need someone to speak out. So took the RCMP 12 minutes to arrive on site, and Malaya's mom was there a few minutes later. She lives 1 hour and 16 minutes away. You tell me if that's strange. I tell the truth, but I can't comment on anything that will harm the investigation. Homicide detectives came right out. Like he said, I think in the interview there, he said the same thing. When she said, well, like, why are you so whatever to that? But we'll play that. The homicide detectives came right out and told me, we know you have nothing to do with it. I was the one that said, here's my phone and lie detector, like, let's do this. He says that Malaya's time of 10 a.m. is false, and we can leave it at that because he didn't want to talk about the timeline at all. She refers to me as her partner, which was weird too in the interview they're referring to. She never does wording like that. I love her more than anything. That will never change. I'm waiting for the chance to relive our first date out over the waterfalls and walk on a big island beach with with the Daniel you first met. She will know what that means. Malaya asked me when noticed that the kids were gone, should I call the police? The fucking kids are gone. What else should you do? My mom was napping and came outside because she heard me yelling that morning for the kids. So there was no spot in here or that I personally heard about this whole driveway thing about the kids or that Malaya was at the driveway. Never heard that anywhere up until recently. Is that the same for you, Charmaine?
Absolutely. That was like yesterday, I think. I think
Day
yesterday
before.
is the first time I ever heard that part. Or
Right.
and I know Daniel didn't really get into where his mother was situated, but that his mother walked right up behind Malaya. Like I didn't realize that either.
Kent, are you referring to the fact that Durwood spoke instead, in a sense? Is that what you're referring to? Because we never heard about no driveway. We only heard about Malaya playing. Wait, what's in here? And not on any other interview or anything like that. But anyways, so he says. She never, let's see, my mom was napping. Malaya was playing on her phone. Mom came out and said Malaya had a look of worry in her eyes that mom was home. No tears. She wasn't scared that the kids were gone. She just had a look of worry for getting caught for something wrong. She never yelled once at the kids' names trying to find them. Mom said it was odd. She acted odd. No, and then he's answering back to Charmaine's question. No, I ran through the house searching every room and ran outside and the back sliding door. I did everything so fast. She said they were gone when we were both outside, meaning Malaya. No, only with me because Malaya rarely ever went outside with them. I ran through the streams and up to my waist many times. I could have slipped on a wet rock. Okay, don't even get me started on this. I could have slipped on a wet rock, hit my head, and died, or fall on a stick or branch and get impaled and die. I did it for the kids, and the world will never see that.
Aw, that poor guy.
Okay. Remove all that from yesterday. I only put this briefly in. So basically, after we did that live, Charmaine wakes up to 3 phone calls. I think it was from Daniel, but she was asleep because we're 4 hours different. It was 6 something in the morning that he called her. He said, remove all that stuff from yesterday. Remove it now. It paints Malaya in a bad light. Jesus, please, not Jesus. Just please remove it. People are attacking Malaya. Detectives told me. Okay. So that's it for those ones. Now, if I click over here, will it show these ones? No. Okay. So I got to stop screen share and then show it again on there. Okay. It's this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. So a lot of people missed these ones yesterday. Oh, my bad. My bad. I'm sitting here making us freaking full and I didn't even make it larger. My bad. Let's do it. Okay. So the other ones are out there anyways, guys. But this one here, probably a lot of people might have missed those at the end of the live. So I wanted to go through these again. Okay. So I told investigators to polygraph her family, and this is Daniel, right? You can see Daniel here, and he's talking with Belinda, okay? And Belinda said it was okay to put this out because Daniel's been speaking a lot, type of thing. And if basically she just wishes Daniel, would just say the truth from A to Z as well. Like, meaning, cut whatever the crap in a sense. I'm saying that loosely. Those are my words. But just, you know what? Just if you have the truth to say, then just say it. And say it from A to Z. start to finish. I told investigators to polygraph her family, and they are. Daniel says, have you mentioned this to the police? That's from Belinda. I work with detectives. Okay, sorry. That's why this can't get out. If it does, then I may lose my in with the investigators. What about Hayden? I'm not sure on that one. I'd watch out. He used to be close to Malaya. Belinda's saying, why no media standing up for Jack and Lily? Even the natives pulled back, and they don't want involvement. And then it says something like, I seen or whatever, an interview yesterday. And then Daniel says CBC, right? So this was obviously before the CBC video. And then he said a lot more in that interview, like when it came out. So that's what Belinda's saying. Like, look, he's doing a lot of talking. This is good to go out. Yeah, I just did it on set interview that was over an hour long with the cameraman, producers, and interviewers. It's out Tuesday, which is the Tuesday that just passed. So CBC National, I think. And then she says mine is out Wednesday. And I think after that comes out, the world will turn on Malaya. Okay. Malaya didn't want to be anywhere near Cody. She was afraid. Okay, Cody is Belinda's son, right? The father of Jack and Lily. So she was afraid to even drive anywhere close even. Don't worry, I have a guy on the inside now. I can't say more than that, but evidence is mounting. The only problem is that it's going to be hard for someone to give up the kid's location. The amount of jail time for this will be unheard of. Don't say anything to anyone about this conversation. Okay, we won't, Daniel. Shh. I won't, but that doesn't make sense because Cody didn't live here. He was in Truro. He only moved back 10 months ago. She was afraid of that she would be there and he would show up. I'm being honest. During that time, he even lived in Cape Breton, Belinda says. Yes, but look who Malaya, I think we finally know that her and her family are a little crazy, maybe more than a little. And then she said he had no interest in her or the kids, sadly. She's referring to Cody, which Belinda came right out and said, because I already knew most of that information because Belinda had already told me, right? So that's the stuff that we weren't really talking about, but Belinda said it right in the interview, and you guys full well heard that Cody has been out of the children's life. He walked away, okay? That he was interviewed like, 3 times or whatever, and they basically said, basically he became what? He was cleared, okay? They had no interest in him. And the kids, but he had no interest in her kids, her or the kids, Sally. Let me make that sure that's right, okay? So again, that's a biological father, Cody. I know, but Malaya's whole life has been nothing but negative. She found me, and then she was happy. Charmaine. She found Daniel, and then she was happy.
Well, of course she did. He's the best. He's the best ever.
Best ever.
And this whole thing, Jack and Lily going missing, he's being punished for being so good.
Well, that's how all this, and like I said, we're just out here to put out the information. You guys can make of it what you will, but obviously in this, and this is where, again, if he wants to clear all this stuff up, instead of text which can be misconstrued, just speak your mind, speak your piece, tell the truth, and then if you tell him the truth, as Daniel said, if you tell him the truth, right, you got nothing to hide. If your story's consistent, it will stay the same. Now I obviously, we know that his story's been inconsistent, but again, he has the option to clear that up if he wants to. If not, then that's fine. That's on him. So anyways, she found me, and then she was happy. But Cindy didn't like seeing her daughter happy. Now look at the mess. Lily and Jack are innocent, and let's see. And oh, Lily and Jack are innocent, and they never deserve this. Breaks my heart. The last time she was here with the kids, she told us that you weren't happy about it. So we told her to bring you along if that would help. Do you think Malaya was a trustworthy person? Daniel says. At this point, I would not trust a word out of her mouth. God, that's such a caring statement right there. Oh my God, but I'm not putting Malaya down. I mean, I want her back. Yeah, okay, anyways, you see her fighting for Jack and Lily. Her family has been saying fucked up shit to CPS. That's why I can't see Meadow. Do you think, okay, we already said that. Malaya and her family have done so much wrong, not to Jack and Lily, but to everyone. Okay. They are giving you supervised visits though now. She never always spoke the truth, but I really thought she was a good mom. I don't know when it changed. And this one he goes again. I raised Jack and Lily. I potty trained them. I played outside with them. I taught kids how to zipper their coats. I did it all. She played on her phone all day. She doesn't know how to raise the kids. The kids used to hit and bite her and scratch her. She had no control over them. Well, that part sounds about right. I can see the kids acting out on her. Know a lot of the moms who have let their kids get away with that too. No, she had zero control over them. I raised Lily and Jack. They just seen her as a girl that makes food for them. I know this sounds bad. No, of course it doesn't sound bad, Danielle. I don't know where you get that from. Anyways, I know this sounds bad, but I'm being honest. I don't lie. It hurts when I tell the truth, but I can't lie because that's all the world is nowadays. People can judge me all they want, but I just like being honest. Okay, so that's the end of that one. And again, sorry you guys couldn't see chat. So if you guys, like I said, you guys just take it for what it's worth. So basically, like I said, I'm going to show you two more messages from Belinda to Malaya on the talking from yesterday, so we can put that together. I'm not going to go through the ones with Malaya and Belinda's original conversation about when the children disappeared that day. You guys can go view that yourself on there. I'm just wanting to put out the other information with this information. So however you want to look at it. See, so because I've been in an abusive relationship, okay, for freaking 11 years for the first one, okay? So trust me, you want to talk about someone that's controlling and whatever, Charmaine, same thing. We know a controlling personality when we see it. This person, if we're looking at this just straight on, we see a person that keeps talking about what he did, what she didn't do, what she didn't do. But God, I love her. God, I love her. God, I love her. Why did she just bolt on May 3rd? Like, I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever, obviously, because I'm just, a dumb turnip on a truck that fell off. So I wouldn't have no clue why would somebody would perhaps bolt. Maybe because they think that you had something to do with it. Maybe they didn't, but we don't know. We're just trying to put the puzzle pieces together ourselves. But this clearly is someone that, like we said, I'm the hero. I almost died. I almost impaled myself. Okay. Is that the one? Thank you, Cheryl Markham. Thank you for becoming a member. We just like to hear the Rickroll song first and foremost. And becoming a member is just now you don't have to have slow mode on, and now you can use the Jack and Lily emojis and stuff like that. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Truly, as well, what we would like out there is a like and a share for Jack and Lily. So whatever way you want to do your part, we just appreciate that. Appreciate it for the sake of, well, you guys know that Belinda means a lot to me personally. This is even more why I fight and keep doing lives, because I know that I don't have to push myself this hard and stuff like that. But I think about Jack and Lily every single minute of every single part of the day. There's something that's going through my head about Jack and Lily. And I know that Belinda, first and foremost, because she's a person I spoke to first, or that I've, besides Durwood calling in and Charmaine speaking to Danielle, this means a lot to me because it means a lot to her, right? So that gives it just extra added love and care, that I really want to just keep forcing the awareness out there. Our channel bringing you whatever information we can. If somebody goes on Dolly and they bring out information, or Clutch Some Pros or whatever, again, information is information. And the more that the families and that are talking, the more maybe we can put this together. So Charmaine, I'm going to go grab those other 2 messages, but go ahead and give your thoughts on basically the perception of Daniel based on these messages.
You sure you want me to do that?
Well, I mean, it's only fair at the end of the day, right? If this is his truth,
words. These are his words.
Anyone's perception, we can perceive it however we want. Again, if somebody's speaking, they have the opportunity to say it without it being probably judged different as much in a sense. But these are his words. So just like the interviews, these are his words. I think it's only fair that you always look at Malaya, what she's done, and Daniel, what he's done and what he said. So go ahead, speak the truth.
I feel like if we look at what Malaya has done, it's more about what Malaya hasn't done. Everything else that we go off of comes from Daniel and Daniel's words. And although he loves her and he doesn't want to paint her in a negative light, I cannot find a single time where he said anything positive about her. That's not how you talk about somebody that you truly love, unless you're used to keeping them under your thumb, just by making them believe that they need you, basically, to think for you, to speak for you, and she's never going to be okay without me. That kind of mentality is all too familiar to me, and maybe I'm reading it wrong. I mean, obviously, but I have these opinions, and my opinions are based on Daniel's words. And I'm sorry, I have all the respect in the world for Durwood. I really do. I appreciate that he comes out. He's giving us the information that he wants to give us. He's doing his own thing, but I cannot myself wrap my head around why Malaya chose that day, because Daniel worked 1 day a week. There's always that question in my mind. The time of day even doesn't make sense to me. And the fact that it's gone on this long. So, okay, if things just blew up and got out of control so quickly, and it shocked Malaya at this point, now she's away from Daniel. She's got a sense of safety, especially now she's on the reservation with her Brooks side of the family. She's got this sense of security. There's absolutely no reason to keep these kids hidden. She still can't be with them. So logically, in my mind, and I'm not asking anybody else to, jump on my train here, but logically in that mindset, it doesn't make sense. Even if something terrible happened to the kids between the time that they left in the car and now, it still doesn't make sense for Malaya to not have told the RCMP anything. And that's where my mind is about the entire situation. And it's going to take a bombshell, a Nancy Grace level bombshell for me to change my opinion. And like I said, no disrespect to Durwood. I'm never going to argue or question his integrity, 100%. I have these thoughts, and it's all based on Daniel's own words. And I keep saying, Daniel, you need to stop doing this shit. You need to get on a live. You need to get on a phone call and speak your truth. Stop with these messages, because it's not good.
It's not doing him any favors.
I want him to keep talking. I do. But
well, again, if he's fighting for Jack and Lily, again, if you think that Malaya and her family had something to do with it, again, then just say it, just spit it out. None of this covert shit and stuff like that. The RCMP, they're doing their job, okay? So at no point are you probably going to be so detrimental to the case and that. But obviously there's things that you probably might not want to say. But I would just say, if you keep saying that you're doing this for Jack and Lily and for Malaya, then just speak your truth. Obviously, you can tell. I mean, these are your words. You haven't painted her in the prettiest picture. but you painted yourself in a good picture, but not her. So maybe you want to clear that up, perhaps. It's up to you, Daniel. At the end of the day, we're going to be here like thorns of a rose and like flies to shit, talking about Jack and Lily and bringing awareness to this case, regardless, whatever it takes, just to keep bringing awareness. And you guys, thank you guys for doing your part, hitting the like and the share, because at the end of the day, whoever is culpable of doing something to Jack and Lily, whether it's an actual abduction by a stranger, because that's still, I mean, we still can't eliminate that. It still could be on the lower scale of what you think. I still believe that there's family involvement, regardless, is my personal situation, whether it's Malaya Daniel, Daniel type of thing. Bottom line is, it's just, in my opinion, that's all it is. Like I said, from Malaya, this conversation, so this was only 2 verses. So Belinda says to Malaya, can I ask you a question? Why did you stop visiting with the kids? I just thought you needed time to convince Daniel he had nothing to worry about. I remember you said he thought you were only coming because you wanted to see Cody, right? Okay, obviously that's a jealousy factor, but I don't understand because we invited him too. Now, then I'm going to go to the next one because the next bottom part is on the next one there.
Really quickly before it leaves my mind, though, I just want to say that somebody in chat said if we keep dogging Daniel, he's never going to talk to us, and that's my point. Sunny is not quite on the same page that I am. She's still very, very much open, and that's why I said if Daniel agrees to talk to Sunny, I will not participate. I will step back. I will not join. I will be quiet in the chat because my thoughts are my own thoughts. And I've made my thoughts pretty clear. Sunny does not share my thoughts. And I will not participate in that. If he comes up and he wants to talk and tell his truth, I will stay back. That is not my place to attack somebody online, and I'm not doing it. If he wants to confront me, 100%, I'm into it. But I'm not here to make anybody uncomfortable or stop anybody from speaking. He needs to tell his truth.
Well, exactly. So if you're telling the truth, you got nothing to hide, then you're going to speak your truth. And you're not going to be worried about it. You're just going to talk about it. Hi, Cracker Jacks.
Emoji. Super chat.
Thank you.
£1.99 you're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting Belinda, Sunny, and Sharp. Purple heart emoji.
You know, as Charmaine said, so, you know, I really get torn on this. And have I flip-flopped between Malaya and Daniel? For the most part, you guys have seen me trying to convince myself always that Daniel is being a truthologist and that he's telling the truth and saying the truth. Does that make it fact? Absolutely not, right? Either, again, he's the best bullshitter in the world, or he's legitimately telling the truth. So at the end of the day, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. And again, from all the episodes we've done, if anything, it's more the fact of trying to believe that Daniel's doing things for the right in purposes, but knowing full well that I'm still not a dumbass. I'm looking at everything, right? I'm looking at everything from Malaya's side, how it would look that way, and from Daniel's side, how it would look that way. So again, it's totally up to Daniel. You know, he had an opportunity, you know, to talk and stuff like that. He might, I don't think he'll take it regardless. Myself, like, I'm pretty sure that you know, that Durwood's gonna ask him to come up on the live, and I don't think he'll take that opportunity, whether he thinks that maybe this channel is just a little bit too us or maybe he just simply doesn't want to come up.
He's perfectly comfortable behind his keyboard, and that's right. Yeah. I said it, and I don't know how to say your name, but that's who I'm talking to. This Cagnaccio. I'm so sorry that I can't say that. But I know that because of me and my opinions, it's very unlikely that Daniel will talk to this channel. But I firmly believe that Daniel won't talk to any channel. He's perfectly comfortable behind his keyboard, which is fine. But I said I will not participate. Sunny hasn't made up her mind. I have.
No, And then at the end of the day, I can't, you know what? My head's spinning, and I'm sure most of your guys is too. But bottom line is, Daniel knows that Durwood is speaking to the channel because Durwood, not his real name, but I know his real name and I have his phone number. Okay. Durwood, just like he said on the live yesterday, you know, like I'll ask Daniel, I'll see if he wants to contact you type of thing. And I was like, sure. So it's not like Daniel doesn't know that Durwood is speaking for him, in a sense, like, meaning you guys, would be obviously big idiots if you guys didn't realize that half of what, at least 3/4 of what Durwood is saying is based on a conversation with Daniel. He's on Malaya's side of the family, but he also knows Daniel's family and Daniel as well. So for all these people that think that he's just some, gossiper and Tim Hortons and stuff like that, no, he talks with the family. Okay. We're talking about Cindy, Patty. We're talking about the family. He knows the Mackenzie boys, etc., etc. Okay. If people don't want to believe that, I don't care. We're just here to put out the factual information that we can, and you guys derive from it what you will. But the bottom line will still be, I don't give a shit about Daniel. I don't give a shit about Malaya. What I give a shit about is Jack and Lily and answers for what happened to them. Whatever repercussions they have, or if they have any, that will be up to, obviously, the law, right? RCMP. If they are guilty of anything, they'll deal with that part of it. Other than that, this is a fight for answers for Jack and Lily. If Daniel keeps wanting to talk and he keeps saying how truthful he is, then great. Then come up, tell your A to Z, instead of your A, Q, D, Z, whatever type of thing, and just clear the air. Just clear it up instead of looking like you're inconsistent. So in saying that, now, actually, there's something else I would like to show. So let's finish this. He never wanted me to go anywhere, and I never knew why he was controlling. Belinda says, why didn't you give us your address? We would have gladly come for visits. So Daniel says, Malaya, says he never wanted to give it. I never wanted to stay there, right? Obviously, like Durwood said, whatever, a couple weeks prior, she wanted out of there. She was talking to her family and stuff like that, out of there. She wanted gone. Well, if he's such a knight in shining armor, why would she want gone, right? That doesn't make sense. So if you've been in an abusive relationship or a controlling one, so just put yourself from Malaya's side in those shoes. And also you look at it from Daniel's side, regardless. I'm not here, like I said, as a creator, I'm here to have my opinion and look at the facts like anybody else. But, I would be a pretty bad creator if I only looked at it from one side of things and just stuck to that. That would be pretty pathetic of me as a creator, for sure, or anyone that's doing a case, right? You have to sit there and always look around the full circle of it and still draw my own conclusions. And if I flip-flop, good. So do you guys, right? We all do, right? We're not perfect. We just go with what information comes in, webs and flows or ebbs and flows or whatever it's called. I think ebbs and flows. But anyways, so obviously from these statements, you can tell that this is based upon what Malaya is saying and between the conversation with Belinda. And this was just on Tuesday. Okay, the Tuesday that literally just went by. That's what this conversation was from. Tuesday, 8:46. I think you saw it on the first one. So this is a recent conversation. And again, if you took it for its value of what you see, just like Daniel's comments, this shows somebody that felt like they were in a controlling relationship, and that basically Belinda had talked about the fact of Malaya distancing herself, and people, of course, are jumping, going, well, why didn't the grandmother see her, and why didn't they see the kids, and whatever. So imagine if Malaya is in this controlling relationship, and basically Daniel's trying to control type of thing, looking at it that way, then obviously distancing herself off from Belinda. I'm not talking about Cody. Okay, Cody walked away because she filed for full custody and walked away. But we're talking about Belinda, right? So Belinda could see that after Meadow was born, it's just like the relationship is like she was pulling away, right? And honestly, my ex-husband, not the, like, my ex-husband was not as abusive as the first one, but he was getting abusive at the end. But talking about the one with my child, same thing, right? They start thinking that they're smart, manipulative, and controlling and whatever and stuff like that. And again, it's just, they start using little tactics on you and try to control. And, I'm not one of those ones that likes to be controlled, but you kind of almost just be like, sometimes you just can't help it. You're just like, fine, so I won't go out then, whatever, but it's a way of trying to control or shift blame and stuff like that. Like I said, anyone that's been in these type of relationship, they know full well when people try to manipulate, gaslight, twist and turn and blame it on you and stuff like that. So looking at it from all sides, guys. Now I do want to show this. And Charmaine, do you need to get going? Because this is longer than what I thought. It's going to be a little bit longer. Do you need to get going?
I need to go to Vernon to get back in time for later's live. So.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
We're going to be going on at 3:00 anyway.
Yeah. I'll be back by then if I need right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to be doing a live. So anyone that is coming into this, okay. So Durwood, okay. Which again, just to explain, Malaya's grandmother is Patty. Durwood is a cousin to Patty, which would make this Malaya's. So Durwood would be, not real name, Durwood would be the first cousin twice removed. Okay. So that's how the relationship works. And I can thank Michelle After Dark for putting that up on the screen, because even I said to Belinda yesterday, so if that's the cousin of Patty, then what is that to Malaya again? But then I seen Michelle After Dark put it up on the screen and I was like, thank you, Michelle. But anyways, okay. So I wanted to show you guys this, and I was wanting to show it to you guys the other day as well. That's not going to work that way, is it? Click the wrong button there. Present. Image. No, not image file. Definitely don't want image file. Present. Share screen. That's what I want to do. Okay. So what I was going to say to that, besides that, was that, okay, so I was asking Durwood this morning. I was like, is it fact that Meadow was taken away from Malaya? And he said yes. Now, he also said that I can put this information. Well, he didn't say, like, we talked about it because he said yes. And he ended up calling me. And he said that he had spoken with Logan, and that Logan was going down to the CPS and she was going to file for whatever you want to call it, temporary custody or custody of baby Meadow. So anyone that knows who Logan and Mackenzie is, Daniel's mother is Janie Mackenzie. This is Daniel's cousin, Logan. Okay. So this is the one that Malaya was going to hand off. They were going to hand off to Logan that day. And then Malaya spoke to her mother, ended up leaving, according to Daniel, didn't even look at him, and just left within 5 minutes. So that's who Logan is. Okay. And she also has a son that's named Jack. I'm not sure if that's her only child or if she has a couple more or another one. But bottom line is that's who Logan is. And it's not like I have this sheet in front of me going, here's the CPS report or whatever. I got a phone call saying that I was allowed to give you guys that information. So don't be shocked. It's Logan. Again, very close to Daniel, to Malaya. Does it surprise me that if Malaya doesn't have Meadow and Daniel can't, that Logan, a very good close relative, obviously, of the family, takes care. And I'm sure that Meadow, we don't want to see Meadow in either person. We don't want to see Meadow in Malaya's custody at the moment, or Daniel's. Why? Because obviously Malaya's, whatever she's going through, right? She definitely has some mental health issues going on. Bottom line is, no different than Clarabelle's mom. Definitely some mental health issues going on. We want that child to be protected and safe. And that's exactly what that child deserves. And in Canada, that's what they focus on first and foremost, is that the child is kept safe. Now, she broke her whatever you want to call it, contract with CPS by going over to the reserve when I believe that she was in had to stay basically at her mom's, because her mom probably is the one that, I don't know how you say it exactly, but had kind of like the guardianship over Meadow there. Anyway, she went to the reservation. She broke that contract. Baby Meadow was taken away. And I just wanted to confirm that this morning. And then I got the phone call from Durwood saying that, yes, he had spoken to Logan. Logan was heading down to the CPS to file for the custody or whatever, temporary custody of Meadow. Okay. So with this right here, I wanted to show you guys this. Right. Exactly, Damien. Exactly. Okay, so someone had sent me this the other day, and I wanted to show it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know who it is in here, but I believe that they were on Dolly. I think that they called into Dolly's show because it was the same pretty much thing being said. So, comparative behavioral risk assessment. So I just want to say, I really appreciate that this was sent. Does it make sense? Absolutely. But we're just going to look at it from a comparative behavioral risk assessment. And it says a category relationship to missing children. Daniel Martell, stepfather, Malaya, biological mother. Okay. So stepfather, non-biological, biological mother. Behavior before disappearance. Known relationship tension. Malaya planned to leave. Financial strain reported. That's underneath Daniel. Then Malaya, attempting to leave relationship, expressed concerns about finances and emotional climate. Okay, behavior after disappearance. Appeared in media. This is Daniel. Thanks, Krista. Thank you.
Super chat. $2 Canadian are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be around for 3 p.m.
Yeah, 3 p.m.
Happy to catch y'all's live.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate the support. You have a great day there, Krista. See you later. Thanks, guys. Again, if you haven't hit that like and the share for Lily and Jack, please do so. Not because of the channel's sake, but because of the missing and the murdered. And this case is very important to this channel, but it's especially important that we find out the truth of what happened to Jack and Lily, and for Belinda, the grandmother. You guys saw her interview, and how can you not be impacted by watching the grandmother just distraught and in tears. Okay, so going back to this here. So again, under Daniel, behavior after disappearance. Appeared in media, framed Indigenous status as irrelevant, blamed Malaya's family, showed selective cooperation. Underneath Malaya, cut off contact with Daniel and his family, moved out, remained mostly private. Narrative control deflection. Made public statements casting doubt on others. Malaya, her mother, First Nation. Malaya, no attempts to control narrative, no public blame placed. Treatment by CAS Children's Aid. Denied access to Meadow and his other children. Malaya retained full custody of Meadow. Cooperation with police. Provided phone, took polygraph, shared info, some cooperation, but paired with blame shifting. Underneath Malaya, no reported obstruction or manipulation, no public concerns raised by RCMP. Emotional targeting indicators. Biological child spared, only children missing. Suggest motive-based selection. Underneath Malaya, no children in her custody were harmed or removed. Motivation for harm, possible retaliatory relationship ending, emotional control, financial instability. Malaya, no known motive, no history of violence or instability towards the children. Isolation or blame, undermined Malaya and her family subtly in public. And then underneath Malaya, removed herself and child from contact with Daniel, consistent with protective distancing. Risk factors. Male non-biological caregivers are represented in child maltreatment and homicide statistics, which we do know. Biological mothers are significantly less likely to harm their children, particularly without motive. So risk profile summary, Daniel Martell, high risk profile based on behavioral consistent with coercive control. Deflection and indirect blame, selective targeting of non-biological children, Child Welfare's agency denial of contact. Pattern aligns with known cases of emotional retaliation and post-separation violence. Malaya, low risk profile. Based on protective withdrawal from Daniel, full custody retention by CAS, absent of motive deflection and or narrative interference, behavior consistent with trauma response, no deception. Conclusion. From a behavioral and investigative profiling perspective, Daniel Martell presents significantly more red flags consistent with known offender behavior in domestic disappearance cases. Malaya's actions were aligned with the victim survivor patterns, not offender behavior. Combined with CAS interventions, motive, and statistical likelihood, current indicators point towards Daniel as a high-risk party for involvement in the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan. So I thought that that was, a good, I'll just, 1 second here, scroll back down. Thank you very much. You guys have been talking. I'm scrolling. Okay. So I thought that that was a very good, definitely, like, just from my point of view, and I'm not no expert on this. I'm just a person that ever kind of watches people, watches their emotions, like just in general, that I've always done that all my life. So I don't have no degrees or anything like that besides my, Google degree that I gave myself and telling myself that I'm good at this stuff. But anyways, but I love this take on it, from a behavioral perspective, because, with the information that we have, it really does align with what typically, because like we weren't born yesterday into true crime. At least I wasn't. A lot of you guys weren't. We know that typically in a lot of these cases, the stepfather or father, have something to do with the disappearance of their children. We saw that happen with those three girls that Decker or whatever his name is, Tucker, and those three girls that he took the lives of. Why? Because he simply wanted to hurt the wife. And it's kind of like one of those things, well, you're fucking up my life or whatever, and my life is out of control, and I blame you, and I blame you. There was a point, you guys, when I was with my ex-husband. So my ex-husband is named Steve as well. I'm married to Steve Austin. That's a different Steve. Okay. My husband now is my awesome husband. Okay. And I feel like I deserved it, to be honest with you, because I've been through some very abusive relationships. But my ex-husband, Steve, me and him were best friends. I met him about 6 months after moving from Calgary to Vancouver here. I met him on some chat line that my twin sister had set up. And his cousin, it was like, this is Steve and Steve, right? And I was like, oh, cute, whatever, a bunch of losers that get on the chat line. But anyways, you realize that there's some good people out there that aren't losers, because the chat line thing wasn't a big thing. It was, but it wasn't, not like it is today with internet dating and stuff like that. So at first I was just looking at it like, I just got out of an abusive relationship. Like, F you, dude, send me your picture, or don't even waste my time, or, but anyways, so me and him ended up being really good best friends. He wasn't no 10 on my scale, but he was definitely a 5 look wise. And, but his personality gave him a 10, because he kept saying all these kind things to me. And I was like, what do you want from me? Because people don't talk like that, right? People don't tell me that you're beautiful and that you're so kind and you're so caring and stuff. Like, what do you want from me? Because I just come from a 11-year abusive relationship, right? Somebody controlling me, somebody kicking me, punching me, black eyes, knee things, whatever, you name it, it happened. And I just decided that, my happiness was worth something. And I didn't deserve to be treated like that anymore. And I was 26 when I left. And I met my ex-husband when I was 26. About 6 months later, I was told I was going to be pregnant within 6 months of meeting him. On point, totally was, with our son, Matthew. Anyways, we were best friends. But the one thing that my ex-husband did was that for some reason, he put me on a pedestal. He thought that he didn't deserve someone that looked like me. And I don't even look at myself that way in any way, shape, or form. I just look at my heart, and that I think that I'm not ugly, but I ain't beautiful. But I just look at the heart of who I am. And that's what I was looking at with him, that he might not have been a 10, but the way he talked and treated me was really nice. Anyways, it was his issues. He had insecurity issues. I didn't. I just wanted to be myself, right? And myself was who I was. He felt like he didn't deserve to be with me. So a lot of our relationship, um, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was controlling at all, in a lot of ways. But he had this imaginary belief that I was going to leave him or something for somebody better, for somebody else and stuff like that. And then, as the time went on, and then when we moved to Whitecourt, Alberta, and I was always paying the bills, I got his credit really great, like awesome. And I was doing everything, right? Raising our child, because he didn't really want to be a big part of, like, it's not that he didn't want to be a big part, but he basically said to me, well, when he can hunt and fish, then get back to me. Other than that, you take care of him. And he basically meant it. He did stuff with his son, don't get me wrong, but that's what he said. And for me, I didn't care. My job was to be the best mother I could possibly be to our child. He got jealous of Matthew, right? He literally said, like, okay, grow the fuck up. But he literally said to me that I give Matthew more time than I do him. Really, really big baby. How old are you, you little big baby? Do you want my left tit while Matthew sucks on my right tit? Seriously? So I couldn't believe he honestly said that. And it was like, so you're jealous of your own son that I'm giving him more time? I am really good at balancing stuff because I know, again, I'm very wise, and when it comes to certain things and, people and affection, and my biggest thing is love. So I know that I have to have balance, but I literally couldn't believe that this grown ass man adult was literally jealous that I was giving more time and attention to our son. Right? Who would ever think that? Well, he did. But anyways, what happened was we ended up moving, and he went 3 months ahead of me. Well, during that time, it happened to be the perfect storm. And the guy that was his boss was going through an affair. His wife was pregnant with another guy's baby, and he was going through an affair, and he was like, fuck women. We don't need women, fuck women. Right? So basically, all that shit must have got into his head, because all of a sudden he started calling me names. And besides the word bitch, and I use the word a-hole sometimes, other than that, he never called me names at all. But the minute he opened that door to calling me names, oh my God, freaking like a freaking dragon coming through right there. Then I was like a freaking whore. I was a freaking psycho bitch. I was everything. Yeah. Now, in all of that, I was like, what the fuck is going on with you, best friend? Like, what the heck? He's like, no. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about, it was really about money and his own insecurities and bullshit. Anyways, he twisted the shit, but I'm a Cancer. I see that shit coming a mile away. And so I was just like, yeah. Okay, so what do you want to do? Obviously I can see what's going on here. Oh, no. It's not about you. It's just these things that I have with you. Basically, I remember there was this turning point where he said something. I can't even remember what it was now. It's been too long. But anyways, it was this turning point where it was almost like to say, you know what? I've put you on your high horse long enough, and you know what? You can get the fuck off of it. And I was like, well, guess what? I never asked to be on that damn high horse. Not my fault you got insecurities. And if you're really going to sit here and blame me for the relationship failing, have a cup of go fuck yourself, happy pants, because you're the one that's trying to project that shit on me. But I see it coming, right? But he was trying to control, and he was trying to manipulate and be the wolf in the sheep's clothing. He was literally going around town, people, in a 15,000 people. And he's like, my wife's, she's a fucking bitch. She's a right? I would walk into a store and they'd be like, oh, I didn't know you and your husband aren't together no more. Because I was with my not husband at the time, but Steve. And then it was just like, oh, really? Really? So he really feels the need to go around town telling everybody what a vicious bitch I am and da-da-da. No. Trust me. I am who I am. I don't play those frickin' ass games. But he needed to do that shit. So anyways, full circle, what I'm coming around to is this. Controlling relationships and stuff like that right? Again, they sit there and it's like the narcissist. They're sitting there gaslighting and saying, you know, you're a piece of shit, you're this, you're that, you're da-da-da. But don't worry, I love you. I love you still. Now, in his case, fuck off by that time, right? Sit there and come back from a bank and then say that you don't fucking, you don't need your wife and you don't need your child anymore. Go have a cup of go fuck yourself. You will never, ever get a second chance with me. So I hate anyone that's in relationships. Honestly, you never give anyone a second chance. I don't care if you're male or female. They don't want you the first time. They're sure in hell is not going to get you the next time. And never, ever put up with abuse from anyone. You deserve so much more from yourself. Preach it, Sonny. Okay, I think I will. Been there, done that. So when I see a relationship or I see these words like that, what I'm thinking about is that controlling person, right? The person that's trying to control the other person. And then the other person, you know, obviously splits and goes the other way and stuff like that. So I'm trying to look at this case by both angles, from Malaya's side of it, about why someone would just up and bolt the next day. Because obviously, if someone does that, she's thinking that Daniel has something to do with the disappearance. Daniel is clearly saying to us on the interviews that her family blames me. They think I had something to do with it, but I want to clear my name. Right? I mean, either he's going full tilt narcissist, you know, or he's telling the truth. Again, then we get that nice, beautiful, well represented article by a viewer. And as soon as I read it, I was like, oh my God, like this is more the line of more practicality in a sense, right? Hiding the children, less practical. Doing something because you're some obsessed stepfather, which falls in line with the criteria of this happening all the time. So I get torn, because does it seem strange that someone would hide non-biological children, you know, there? But also by the same token, was she getting herself ready? Like, hey, you take Daniel or Jack and Lily, you know, and then all I need to worry about is Meadow and stuff like that. And shit went south and stuff like that, you know? So it's either, to me, it's either Daniel's lying or Malaya's lying. One of the two is happening here. I don't think it's both together. I think that they both kind of lied that morning for sure. Whether Malaya's interview was, and why it was so shitty, that interview, is because she knew she was lying. You know, because that interview, guys, is such a telltale of absolute lying that was going on there, regardless if it was done for self-preservation mode or the fact that she was, you know, just saying what Daniel told her to say and stuff like that. Either way, it was bold-faced lying that was going on, regardless between the two. But people that concoct a plan together to take children out don't usually bolt off this way and that way. Usually it will be when the police, RCMP, LE is breaking them down, that all of a sudden it's like, okay, that's usually when that happens. Not next day, freaking Malaya's out of there. Okay, that's not a strong situation there. So that tells me that one person is blaming the other person, right? And that lying in the morning is definitely lying. But by Malaya leaving shows me that there's no two people that have planned it and they're going to lie. That just usually, watch those investigations. Always, they'll stick together like freaking flies to shit until they get broken down, because one either breaks down. Usually it's the female, no word of a lie, because we're more emotional, stuff like that. Now, okay, the grandmother, Paul Duffy, the grandmother knows what happened. Are you talking about, when you say grandmother, are you talking about Cindy Murray? Yeah, you got to keep it straight there. She started gaslighting Daniel days before her family. Okay, so again, right? At the end of the day, like I said, it's just taking the information, making it of it what you think has happened to Jack and Lily. I just want the truth to come out. You know, if people are talking, let them talk, right? Obviously, Malaya's not doing any talking from her side. It's very little. And again, what's the exact reason for it? Are we blasting her ass for nothing, or are we blasting it because regardless, at the end of the day, there was lying going on that morning between. So when Daniel says that he's always tells the truth. No, 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 no. That's not true. There's lying that's absolutely going on that morning. And, right? It doesn't, I mean, honestly, let's go to, I never played it yesterday. But let's play it. I think this is the one here, right? Okay, so let's play this, right?
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lily and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6
Oh,
weeks.
just look at them.
I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together. And I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning,
Yeah.
but you don't feel that now.
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that someone
No.
might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No, not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, yep, great, thank you, come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test.
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. It's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lily and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lily and Jack? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people that live in the area. And those interviews, typically my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
And how did that feel?
Good.
And did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really when I seen the turning point for it's starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malala has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took one. Do you know the result?
No. RCMP wouldn't let tell me I asked.
You said you feel like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lily and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much attention?
Well, just the mysterious and nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Is there some?
Stop it there just for a minute, just because, you know, it is, we're at the halfway mark on there. So just quickly so I pay myself for YouTube premium, so I don't get ads. That's why you guys will get ads yourself if you don't have YouTube premium, but you won't see me get ads during anything we watch unless it's an off site. No, and it's not on YouTube, because I pay for premium. Why? Because it's freaking worth it. I freaking hate ads, can't stand ads. So I wouldn't know about getting kicked off because of ads. Bottom line is YouTube puts ads throughout the lives and stuff like that. And during the, once it's ended, okay? YouTube obviously wants ads to show. Obviously it helps the channel when ads are played regardless. That's the whole point. They give back to us. They pay because people pay them to put out ads. It's that simple. That's how YouTube makes its money, right? Is by the ads and the revenue generated. And they take 30%, by the way, so you know. So if you donate $10, they give us $7. That's how it works. So that's the bottom line of it. Trust me, if you guys don't have premium, spend that, whatever it is in American dollars to you guys. I know that they've increased the price for it, so I think I pay around $25 a month for it. Well worth it. Can't stand ads, kiss my ass ads, blah, blah, blah. So if you're not on YouTube premium, sorry, can't bitch, because YouTube, I mean, they literally have people, because they like that, pay YouTube millions of dollars so that you guys can see their ads. Okay. So if you have it in your budget, trust me, it's well worth it. Just saying. I put up with ads at first, but as a YouTube creator, I ain't putting up with ads. I don't want you guys to see the ads. Like, if you guys get them yourself, totally up to you what you pay for. I personally cannot stand the suckers myself. You know, that's why on VCR back in the day, you just freaking, you know, right past the freaking ads, right? But anyways, so that's the bottom line for that. As for this particular interview, do me a favor. We're at a point where, okay, so when Daniel's asked about the, there's a couple things here. When he's asked about the polygraph test, he does get this smug, smirky smile. Basically, you did good. Here's your little sticker from school, you know. But it's almost like someone that's, to me, that's literally enjoying the fact that he passed, because his smirk comes across his face. Right? Now, it could simply be that, you know what, I'm tired of getting this freaking blame, blah, 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 blah. And maybe he's just finally happy that he took a test and he passed. And, you know, he's, you know, no matter what, that smile's coming, because it's like, piss off to all the people that said I was guilty, blah, 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 blah. Could be that, whatever. What do you guys make of this interview so far with Daniel? Well, at the end of the day, you're going to have one side or the other. One, if you believe Daniel. Two, if you don't believe Daniel. You know, his body is very relaxed. I don't see that he's doing a lot of, you know, when people are lying stuff, but that doesn't mean he's not, right? But what do you guys feel? One, for if you think he's, what I say, one, for telling the truth. Or two, that he's lying through his teeth. Because definitely liars can pass polygraph tests, right? That's, I mean, they're not admissible, but at the end, it's how you guys feel. How do you guys see Daniel at this moment yourselves? So one is he's telling the truth. right? Okay. And 2 is he's not. Yeah, Jola. I never gave you a 3. Okay. A lot of 1s so far. Some 2s in there. Come on. 486 people. Let's go. How many people are from Twitter? Okay, there's 18. Hi, Twitter. How are you? On there. Truth hurts sometimes. It certainly does. Kent. 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's me. That's me, Kent. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Laying back. 2 2 2. When your first question out of their mouth hit you. Imagine that being the first question, though. You're freaking all wired up, and all of a sudden it's like, so did you kill Jack and Lily? So I can understand someone being nervous because this is not a normal everyday occurrence that you're strapped to a bunch of shit that's measuring, and you're nervous about that because it's, I mean, who goes through that daily? I just strap myself in, see if I'm lying today, right? And imagine that question coming out right away. Now, Hubby says he's guilty as fuck. I'm undecided. Thank you. So Chelsea Gray is Belinda's daughter. And so she's saying, Sunny, yes, it has been 100% confirmed that Meadow was removed from Malaya. Actual receipts to back it up. Or are you asking me? Is that what you're saying? So I don't have receipts to back it up. It's one of those things to me for this information. It's either people trust the channel or they can take it for whatever value it's worth. Because it was said about Meadow being taken from Malaya for breaking the rules of the CPS. So I was told by Durwood, right? The Patty's cousin, Malaya's first cousin, twice removed, that he spoke with Logan Mackenzie this morning, and that Logan was going to the CPS to file for custody. And that it does make sense. It makes sense because we all know that Logan is the close cousin type of thing, and that's one that was supposed to be taking care of Meadow. So that does make sense. So and then I got a phone call basically saying you can go ahead with that information because that is factual. So so again, I don't have any receipts to back that up besides of the word of, which I know his real name, Durwood's real name and phone number. I do have his phone number. So this is one of those things. Take it with whatever you want, a grain of salt or whatever. We heard about it yesterday. I just wanted to know this morning if that was true or not. And so, so this is what I was told. The conversation was had with Logan, and she was going to file for the custody of Meadow. Makes sense? Would make sense. Because I too was kind of going, because we don't truly know what truth bombs are coming out and what bullshit's coming out. But either way, so I'm just going based upon the fact that Durwood family, yes. Spoke to Logan. Yes, he spoke to me. Then, because he had called me because I was asking him if it was factual, and then he ended up calling me. Then he ended up calling me back to tell me he had spoken with Logan, and that yes, that I could put that out there. So that's what I was doing, was passing on that information. Okay, so because I don't have receipts to back that up, besides just trusting in, knowing that Durwood, I believe in his honesty. I absolutely believe that what he's doing is fighting for Jack and Lily, and that absolutely he's a family member. And it's just like that part doesn't, for me, I'm good with that information. I already know, right? You guys obviously would have to do your own digging if you wanted to find out that particular truth yourself, just like I would expect. But anyway, so I would not feel comfortable if I felt like I was putting out false information to that. So it's not about, Daniel saying it, like regardless if he said it, it's about Durwood talking with Logan. And literally saying that she was going to file for that custody for Meadow, which would make sense. So at first, I thought you were telling me that you had a confirmation, but then I think I realized that you were asking me if I had receipts to that. So, are we done with the ones and twos? So I think that there was more ones than twos so far. Anyways, I'm just going to play out the rest again and then we can talk about it. Again, we cannot hypothesize on what went on in that home. If she was so unhappy, she would have left. She was not being held if money was an issue. Where were all the wonderful family members then? You know, all we can do is just take what's given to us. Bottom line, right? Live dream. I know, Travis. I know. Oh, no, it's my 2 days off, Travis. I'm kind of holding back for Logan to make the claim himself or herself. It's her that she. So Logan is a female, by the way. Okay, it's on the thumbnail. It's a she. So I know that Logan can be a guy's name as well, but it's not. It's the cousin that was there that day that the argument happened, that Malaya was supposed to hand over Meadow to Logan. So that's who we're speaking about. Logan Mackenzie, the one that was also on the TikTok that came out with the same, obviously, her and Daniel are cousins. It's just kind of like if Sherwood, if Derwood's talking to Daniel, right? Obviously, a lot of that information is going to be very similar because obviously they're having conversations, Daniel and Derwood, right? So a lot of the things are going to be said according to what Daniel is saying because obviously Derwood wasn't there that day, right? But he's family. Okay. So again, take the information, whatever you want on this. In this case, I'm just simply going to say that, I was told that I could put that out, that it was factual. And I simply absolutely believe Derwood by this. So, or else I wouldn't have. But anyways, I'm just going to play the rest of this. Okay, guys? Glad to hear. Good for you, Logan, just coming in. But seeing the headline. Hi, Tom. On this one. At the end of the day, I think that regardless, I think that all of us feel that Meadow probably should be in the care of somebody else while all this is going on. That I think it's probably been apparent perhaps that Malaya has some health issues, mental health issues. And I think it's just in the best interest of the child that the child is put into the care of somebody else for the time being myself. That's my own personal opinion on that. Okay, so again, I'm just going to finish playing this out.
Something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't pivoted to any type of criminal investigation. But the kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were out of school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area on camera the day before this appearance in the afternoon.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me, Malaya, and Meadow, and Lily and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since.
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well. So for all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before this appearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, days before that?
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that, you know, weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, you know what I mean, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, the more pictures and videos is the better.
They say they have hundreds of hours of video.
Mhm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was up to 2 weeks ago, they had footage that they examined for evidence that was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out. So
But what's on the video?
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning, it was almost daily, tapering off to where it's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with, or anything I can try to bring to their attention, which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over phone or messaging, and it's hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person. But then I also know the eye's not on me. The investigators don't see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days, I mean, I've already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone. We'll go through all my banking information. We'll go through all my stuff on my GPS from Google.
And you were offering all that up right from
Yeah,
the
I
beginning.
offered everything
And why were you doing that?
to show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is you killed the kids. We'll just come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama. That's the main thing. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing the children. Still haven't got to see any of my kids, including Lily and Jack. And that's been really tough, going from a family of 7, including my other 2 kids that live in Halifax now. Going from a family of 7 in the blink of an eye, your family's ripped apart and you're left alone.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that interview. You know what? At the end there that caught me is the same thing Christopher Proudfoot said, right? And so Christopher Proudfoot is from the stepfather from the Sebastian Rogers case, and he was always willing to say that, well, everyone has their own opinion. But it was kind of like eerie when I heard that, to be honest with you. Everyone has their own opinion. Christopher Proudfoot says that all the time. And yet in the Sebastian Rogers case, if anyone was going to side-eye, it would be the stepfather and the mother in that case as well. Again, it goes back to, do you feel like Daniel's telling the truth here? Again, he, like in the text messages we showed you, he was basically saying how the detectives feel like he has nothing to do with it. I believe that they were, he had nothing to do with it. Here's a phone. Well, we have your other phone, which is weird. Were they doing that for a certain reason by giving him another phone or not? Maybe I'm just looking too deep into that part, but I just look at everything myself. So again, how do you guys feel? Just for everyone out there, just splash it around. 1, that he's telling the truth. 2, that he's not. Just want to see a confirmation. I didn't do no poll Didn't maybe we'll do one later. Yeah, we'll do one later. When we do the other live at shit. I said this was going to be a short live, probably determined about an hour long. Oh well, it's 2 hours. It still beats the 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour live. So whatever on there. You're not funny. Cops never give loaner phones. You know. So again, right? Just here to bring awareness to Jack and Lily. That's all you guys really want. What happened? Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? I definitely believe there's family involvement myself here. And it's just a matter of having two polar opposite things, including the fact of, obviously things that Daniel said are differ from what he was saying the day of the disappearance and stuff like that. Malay is not talking, so we can only go by her first interview and her actions and stuff like that, and take it whichever way we wish to take it. Like somebody said, and kind of like what happened in the Delphi case, Derek, the father of Libby, was accused so many times of having something to do with the death of Abby and Libby, and he had nothing to do with it, but he never spoke. He never spoke because he knew that he was just going to get attacked. So he just stayed silent while his mom and his dad kept speaking. But yeah, so silence can mean two things. It really can. Somebody could just be doing what they're being told to do, in a sense. Not that the RCMP didn't say not talk, but maybe they just didn't want to. According to Belinda, Malaya has said that she believes in the RCMP 100%. And so again, who's lying? Somebody's lying. Someone's lying, or people are lying. That to me is a guarantee. That one you can probably take home to the bank. 100%. They gave him a phone for a reason. Let's see, 222. Okay, some more twos coming in on there. There's Kent again, 121212. Hi, Takama. Don't know, suspicious for cops to give a loaner phone. Please don't give loaner phones. Again, Daniel has the opportunity, if he wants, to clear up a lot of those things that he said, if he wants to. He was obviously in Dolly the other day talking about some weird ass 2 sweaters and stuff like that. That's just weird. Okay. It's just weird. But either way, he was speaking. But the thing is that just like text, they can get twisted around. So how he's portraying himself in his text is that, hey, I'm probably the white knight and the horse that came and saved Malaya from all her woes and woos and stuff like that. And yet Malaya's messages to Belinda are of somebody that is controlling, that she didn't want to be there, and she obviously would have left for a reason. So just looking at it from all angles. But again, Daniel has an opportunity, if he wants, if he's so willing, to go on all these interviews and stuff like that. He has a very fair and open space here. If he's telling the truth, like he says he is, okay, put Malaya to the side, cut the bullshit with that, right? You don't put your freaking partner in front of children in any case. If there's children that are involved and stuff like that, and you believe that Malaya's side of the family had something to do with it, and Malaya's innocent of all this, no, that's not true, actually. Because that morning, there was obviously 2 people that were clearly lying together, and nobody just goes to the left on you the next day without there being some mistruths happening in there. It was clear as day. There's lying going on. That's clear. But if Daniel says that he's telling the truth, and the truth is the truth, and he doesn't lie and all that stuff, again, just come speak your mind, come speak your piece, instead of going around, I'm glad that he's kind of going into Dolly, and he said some messages and stuff the other day, but, like I said, clear up those inconsistencies that you're talking about. You're the only one talking, Malaya isn't, so you pretty much got the floor to yourself. Like I say, every case is probably treated with individual basis. Both were deemed high risk after the fact. Regardless of her state of mind, if a crime is committed, then it goes to court to determine penalty. Absolutely, right? Like, we can have our own opinions, but we're not their judge and jury at the end of the day. If they have any involvement, right, the RCMP and the province will take care of that. Oh, which reminds me, did Dolly ever straighten that out? It always cracked me up because he kept saying Providence, Providence. Does he still say Providence? You know, it's like, Dolly, it's province, not Providence. It's province on there. I just thought of that as I was saying that, because he always said Providence, Providence. It's province. In Canada, it's province. Anyway, so where is the mom now? As far as we know, she's on the reservation. But again, that's just still speculation about that. There's nothing that we have to sit there and back that up whatsoever. But yeah, Irene. I bet the RCMP are watching okay, they are. I'll just let you know that they are. So the thing that gets me here is that Daniel keeps saying he doesn't want to impede the investigation, but yet he's going and he's saying in the same text to Charmaine and the same text to Belinda, like, on here, it's like, well, hold on, but you're going into, Dolly talking about 2 fucking sweaters, about that if the kids are found or something like that, then hey, I'm just telling you right now, I had nothing to do with that. That the family took 2 sweaters and they're trying to frame me and blah, blah, blah. Like, strange. Yeah. Because it just does remind you of somebody that's, like, so what? So everything that somehow comes out is, hey, I still had nothing to do with it, but so meaning I just look at everything that's being said regardless, right? And where does the truth lie between the two of them? Who knows? But there's lying going on. Simple as that. That part is fact. That part is 1000% fact. There's not even a, maybe, kind of, sort of. No, there's absolute clearly lying going on, because that conversation of how they said it in the morning was not the way it went. He dropped 2 sweaters at the dumping spot. Again, I don't know if Daniel wants to come clear that up, and say exactly what that means. But the way it does look really weird when somebody puts out the fact about 2 sweaters and that they were taken. Like, who talks about that stuff? Like, seriously, who talks about that stuff? So who? I'm just honestly. So you don't want to impede an investigation, but yet you say something like that? That's strange. But the thing is that then if you didn't want to impede at all, then why are you saying something? If you're fighting for Jack and Lily and that's your purpose, you know what? Speak to your little heart's content. At the end of the day, if anyone's involved in the crime, trust me, they're going to get their asses handed to them on a silver platter by the court system. Anyone that had any part of the disappearance of Jack and Lily. So either speak your truth, like I said, put up or shut up, one of the two. If you're going to keep speaking, then keep speaking. If this is for truly Jack and Lily, right, and you can put your drooling bib to the side over Malaya, in a sense, because this is about Jack and Lily. I can't say that enough. Get your head out of your butt then and do what's right. Jack and Lily, if that's what you're fighting for, that's what we want to fight for, is the truth about what happened to Jack and Lily. With all the deflection and lies, I'm sure it's impeding the investigation. You know what? So my thought on this is not really, to be honest with you. Okay? The more the family talks, the more the RCMP loves it. Don't be mistaken by that, okay? The thing that impedes the investigation is truly all those effing idiots out there that send in information because they heard a rumor was said and something was spread, all because somebody heard that somebody heard. It's the idiots out there that bog down the RCMP or the LE that literally send in a bunch of useless shit because some perhaps psychic said this and they're sending it in because, or they heard Durwood say this, and because their dumbasses don't realize that information would already have been given to the RCMP. That's what bogs and impedes an investigation. It's that bullshit that people do that don't have brain cells, that just literally send in a bunch of trivial bullshit. If you're sending in facts, send in facts. If you think you're sending in something important, but trust me, you guys, with Delphi, okay, with the Delphi case, there was this blue jacket, this guy on the bridge, right? The bridge guy, right? Blue jacket, blue jeans. Okay, everyone in freaking Delphi that had a blue jacket was turned in by some idiot that thought that, oh my God, that guy has a blue jacket. That could possibly be the BG. I don't know, but I better send it in. And they don't use their brain cells. Okay. So that's truly what impedes an investigation. So it's one of those things, if you got, imagine 10 people going, well, I was watching this psychic and da-da-da. And, I don't know if she reported it. And a lot of them say that they do and they don't do shit. Okay. That's fair facts as well. A lot of these psychics, I turned it into the information, into the police, bullshit. That's just bullshit that you're saying that, most of them. But at the end of the day, you just don't want to bog them down with useless rumors. If Durwood had said yesterday on the live that besides saying the name, everything else was, was already known to the RCMP. They're not dimwats over there, but they just ask that the dimwats out here in true crime land use your brain cells a little bit and just don't bog them down with a bunch of shit, because they need to check up on all the leads, So if you're one of those people that's just sending in a bunch of rumor stuff, smarten up, honestly. Use your brain cells, send in things that are they're factual, not about maybe I was listening to, it's just, you guys get what I mean, right? Now, sorry to be blunt, but I'm just a very blunt, straight up person that way. It's not to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just like this shit. It gets old. People on these flighty little things that bog down an investigation, because they have to look into that. So every time you send in one of those pathetic freaking rumor crap things, they have to sit there and check it out. And then you're wasting time on Lily and Jack, where the true effort should be put in. So if you have a really good lead, send it in. Some good information. But not because some freaking ass psychic said this, or some, person was watching this live and that person said that, and you heard that some idiot comes in, and you guys have seen this, some idiot comes in saying that they found Jack and Lily's remains and stuff like that. And you're like, oh my God, that's probably true. Oh my God, I better turn that over to the police in case they didn't see that, or they didn't see someone say that online. So I better go turn it in. She's afraid of going to jail. The cousin should be charged with holding information. Why? I'd see again right there. Right there's my perfect point there, Karen. Why? He already said that all the information has been turned in. So besides the name, but that's just a name, right? It's not like the RCMP are stupid ass. So when people are going, well, there was a lady that called into Dolly going and this is kind of what Durwood said, so, oh my God, did they look in the lawnmower gas tank? Did they look, in the freaking back of the toilet and stuff like that? Stuff like that. It's common sense. It's common sense. If he's spewing it on here, you don't think it's already been spewed when they talk to him in person? That he's given all his thoughts. He's not one of these quiet people that just, I think I'm just going to secretly talk about it on the internet, but I'm not going to tell the RCMP any of the same. Of course they are. No different than Daniel telling whatever his thing is to the RCMP about Malaya's family and blah, 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 blah. Right? It's just 2 + 2, honestly. So imagine that. Imagine if, let's say in the, scheme of things, 30 people sent to the RCMP. Oh my God, Durwood, he needs to report that, because, it's very important that the cousin, he should be charged as well. Again, think about that. You just bogged down now the police with this tip of wasting their time on Jack and Lily, So all I'm saying is just try to be more diligent. And if you are sending in tips, right? Don't bog them down. Let them worry about Jack and Lily's case, truly. We're not smarter than them, to be honest with you. We're not police officers unless you're a police officer and knows the RCMP. I think the RCMP is going to get to the bottom of this, absolutely. I do have my faith that they will get to the bottom of this. But they also need the truth, and they also need evidence, right? They obviously are looking for something because they got 150,000 K up to. Don't get me wrong. When I heard the psychic say that they had been calling the RCMP literally daily, I was pretty mind blown. They're smart. Let me put it this way, because I don't want to put it as whatever. There's people that are, say, good psychics, but we all know that we truly do know that most times they are pretty much laughed at. Okay? Like, honestly, right? It's like, there's some people that, like, how many people, when a psychic comes on or something, how many people drop out of the live because that's just not their cup of tea, or it's against their religion, stuff like that. Or, even though God made us all, so heaven forbid on that one. But, it drops down because it's not everyone's cup of tea. And we all know that psychics do get used, even if they don't admit to it, like the case in Delphi for one, but they don't admit to that, right? Because we all know that, oh yeah, there's another psychic tip coming in, and there's going to be somebody out there that's really good, that actually does have credible information and stuff like that. So unfortunately, the ones that are full of shit, or they don't know how to read cards and they think that they're good, well, I'm sending this to myself daily. Again, what can I say? I can't control that. Whatever. All I'm asking is people to use their common sense. Send in stuff that's actually not, stuff where somebody's like, I'm living in another province and stuff like that. And somehow I'm on a channel and the channel's sitting there putting out this bullshit information. And I'm going to turn that into the police because my brain cells are working overtime. Stuff like that. Solid evidence. He hasn't given names, though. He hasn't given, well, let me put it this way. On a live, are you truly going to give the name of someone that you suspect, but you're going to put them on blast and totally ruin their effing life if they had nothing to do with it? Remember, I did that in Delphi. There was 90 freaking suspects, and Delphi, that was my first learning curve there. You don't put people on blast and accuse them outright of something if you don't. So that was my learning curve, was Delphi, So now it's like, in my opinion, speculation, what I think, and all that stuff. Not going to turn around and ruin somebody's life if they had literally nothing to do about it. Even if he says he didn't say the name, who knows? Maybe he was telling us the truth on that. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, going on YouTube with the info isn't withholding info because you're giving it out publicly. The RCMP can see it. Well, yeah, bottom line is, going back to that, the info, do they watch the lives, right? And stuff like that? Absolutely. Like Charmaine said too, if they're not doing it public, like say themselves, but they have these people, like I know this from other cases. They got the news is in and out of those Facebook groups looking for information. They got their freaking sniffers out there. So don't be mistaken, because whenever a family member is talking, they're listening. They're listening. Guaranteed. Because they like it when family members talk. If they think that there's any sort of involvement, regardless, they're listening. Because everything that they say that's in words, they have to be accountable for, right? That's like having your freaking cream cheese on top of your toast there. You couldn't ask for something better than family talking. And if it contradicts anything that you've said and stuff like that, well, then they're nailing their own freaking nail in the coffin there. Hi, Peppermint Patty. Welcome. Yeah, that's freaking, what is that? The Peanuts. Charlie Brown. Peppermint Patty. It's funny. I thought Derwin was another individual from here. Oh, did you? Hi, Valerie. on there. Okay, I'm just gonna, sorry, I can't keep up with all this. And I've been doing this live probably long enough now. On this, all I know is the purpose I know that you guys want, the purpose that I want out of this, it's just answers for Jack and Lily. Please don't waste their time sending in a bunch of bullshit to the RCMP. Use your, thinking caps, and just don't take away time from the RCMP trying to figure out what happened to Jack and Lily. Please share the information about Jack and Lily, the 150K reward. Maybe that could possibly bring somebody forward that has some knowledge and can lead to some answers and whatever. I believe Sonny Daniel is innocent. I don't want to say that he's innocent. Don't get me wrong on this one. No one's innocent in my book here on this one. I keep flip-flopping like a fish. And it's because, we just take the information that we have. And that there's missing puzzle pieces. If that was the case, this case would be solved. We'd be moved on to a different case for somebody else that needs awareness to their case. But don't mistake me for thinking that Daniel's innocent here. I don't know if Daniel's innocent or Malaya's innocent. I know that both of them are lying at the end of it, regardless about that morning. But it's just a matter of what you guys think with the information. It was just presented to you. You guys do with it what you will, but spread the awareness. That's the important part. That's all I want out of this, is to help Belinda, help any other family member that wishes to just keep the case going out there and being in the public eye. And you guys are the ones doing that. I'm just a channel that's asking its subscribers or people that aren't subscribed just to share the information. Do it for the sake of the children. Can Carrie, Sonny, come on? Short note, Carrie, Sonny, come on to let us. Wait, what? Short note, Carrie, Sonny, come on to let us know that she had an confirmation from Derwin that Meadow was taken from, and she was told that Logan can. Short note. You're going to have to decipher that first part of that, to be honest with you. And she was told that Logan is applying for temporary custody. Yeah, okay, so if somebody's asking about that, no, you're sure exactly what she's saying there. But anyways, we'll go back to Logan. Okay, so again, I was talking with Derwood this morning because I wanted to understand if it was truly factual that Meadow was taken from Malaya. I was told, yes, absolutely. Then, I got a phone call, and basically to say that Logan, that he had spoken with Logan this morning, and that indeed she was going down to CPS to file for custody of Meadow, and that I was allowed to put that information out there because it was factual. And I'm telling you, I don't have any receipts to back that up, besides, of course, knowing Derwood's name and having his phone number. And of course, we all know who Logan is, or at least if you don't, Logan is the cousin, and it's a female to Daniel, Logan and Mackenzie. And so, yeah. And so, like I said, I was told, because I wasn't going to put it out at all. I was told it. But then when I got a phone call saying that I could, then I'm like, sweet. Okay, I'll put it out there, because I believe in it. I'm not going to put it out there if I thought it was a lie, But Derwood's not here to play games. Again, if you guys don't want to believe that, don't. Doesn't matter to me none. I'm just putting out that information, and either you can trust the channel or, not. But at the end of the day, if it was false information, I'd come back and let you guys know that it wasn't true and tell you that there was a correction to be made. But again, I was given a phone call to say that I could say that. And so I'm sharing that with you guys. But I got no receipts to back it up. Simple as that. Okay. Oh, okay, Valerie. But anyways, with that being said, you guys, we'll be doing another live at 3:00. So Astro by Lauren will be joining us, and maybe perhaps Kent will join us as well. And who knows if I'll get another phone call from Derwood. All I know is we're going to be doing another live at 3 o'clock our time, which is 7 o'clock Nova Scotia time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, like that. Appreciate Charmaine for joining. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you again to the mods, to everyone. It's very important in this chat that we keep it respectful to each other, because we all have our own thoughts and opinions. And just because you don't like someone's opinion doesn't mean that you're right and they're wrong. At the end of the day, if you don't like what somebody else is saying, there's a block button, you know. But we don't put up with arguments and stuff like that, because I don't need your subscription and I don't need you coming into this chat. You can watch it from being blocked, or you can create another name, you know, because you get pissed off. You know, like some people, when I block them, they go to another channel calling this channel a liar, 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 liar. Why? Because your butt hurt because I blocked your ass for being a total idiot in the chat and you had nothing positive to say. And all you did was want to create drama and bullshit. Sorry, don't care. Go to any other channel. Don't care. Blast me all you want. Don't care. Bottom line is, this is about awareness, fighting for cases, being honest, truthful, and sincere in all our intentions. And if people don't understand that, okay, then don't watch the channel. Simple as that. Anyways, you guys, but for the people that truly care for being here and want to watch the channel and know that you're not getting fed a bunch of bullshit, then thank you. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for coming in here. Not sure what that was said. I just can't wait until Life Magazine puts a pic of Daniel on it. They will exploit him for sure. Thanks, Pulame, on that one. Yeah, I just like, you know, like I said, we just like to keep it real. Okay. Don't play games. I don't play thumbnail games. I don't play freaking drive people in for this reason. Either you come in here because you either want to be in here, and a lot of people haven't heard the channel, because I don't clickbait shit. I don't try to drive people in here that way whatsoever. I just try to do it from how my morals are, and I couldn't do anything if I was morally doing stuff that goes against how I feel, right? And so, like I said, I sometimes you're tempted and go, well, look at all those people rushing ahead and all these subscribers and all this, you know, just to get ahead of the game and get this and that and stuff like that. It's not my thing. Not going to do it. Can't sell my soul to the devil if I tried. Anyways, probably he wouldn't want to buy it either, though. Anyways, nice to see you guys. Anyone come back at 3 o'clock. We'll see what other news we have going on. But other than that, you guys have yourself a wonderful day and see you in a few hours. Alrighty then. Thank you, guys. Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm saying that, but I got to go back because I like to do this. Okay, let's do this right. Cindy B, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Chris Dawson, thank you so much for your $9.99 super chat. Janie, Jane, sorry, I said Janie. Thank you so much for your $20 pounds over there. And so anyone that doesn't know, my husband's from the UK himself. So sometimes I always get confused between the euro and this pound thing and stuff like that when I see the little symbol. Darlene, thank you for becoming a member. Cheryl, thank you for becoming a member. Cracker Jacks, thank you for supporting Belinda, Sunny, and Shar. Absolutely. Belinda has my heart for this case. She's just been such a force to be reckoned with, knowing full well that these are her grandbabies that we're talking about. And Krista, thank you so much for your super chat. So again, thank you regardless. Thank you to Belinda. Thank you to Daniel. Thank you to Durwood. Thank you to Logan. Thank you to any of the family members that are willing to speak about the case regardless. So when they speak, listen. Okay, guys, so take care. Have a good one, and we'll see you in a bit.